Good evening, a warm welcome to everyone watching live round 3 of the Formula Racing League on Le Mans Ultimate, powered by Cube Control Season 2. I hope everyone is doing well on a Friday evening, and I apologise in advance if you're wondering, blimey, his voice sounds different for this week compared to the last 2 weeks. Well, I am suffering from a slight case of man flu. Now, if you have not experienced man flu, it's not nice. So the voice is a little bit ropey this evening. It was starting to go last week. It's progressively got worse over the last 5 days, so I'm hoping not for too much turn 1 action this evening. That might send the vocal cords in a little bit of distress, but welcome along. It's Friday evening. We're at glorious weather here at Sebring, but also glorious weather in the UK. From where I am right now, in the commentary box, it's fantastic weather all week here, and very much looking forward to round 3 of the Formula Racing League Season 2, Le Mans Ultimate tonight. And we've just gone live, just in time for qualifying. As you can see, the hypercars making their way out of their respective pit boxes and waiting for that green light onto track. So, housekeeping, let's get the housekeeping out of the way, shall we? Drop a like on the video, whack subscribe on the video, on the channel if you haven't already. If you haven't already, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell icon as well, you'll get notified when Formula Racing League goes live. There's plenty of action across the various sim titles. ACC, iRacing, Le Mans Ultimate, and rFactor 2 with British Touring Car Championships, with plenty of action across Formula Racing League as the drivers make their ways out. I can't get my words straight. Make their way out onto their warm-up laps. So yes, housekeeping. Drop some comments into the chat as well. Let me know where you're watching from or who you're supporting. Let me know how you're doing. Have you had a good week? Are you excited for the race? Let me know, and I will keep an eye on the chat. It's very good to have you along with us live here tonight. So, Sebring, what a track. It is one of my favourites. It is without a doubt one of the bumpiest tracks on the circuit, or on the calendar, but a fantastic track nonetheless. Located in Florida, next to a I believe it's a Form. I don't know if it actually still is in use at the airport, hence why it's an extremely bumpy track. I haven't re-tarmacked it, resurfaced it for a long while, but it's a very famous track in America, and it produces some stunning multi-class racing. I'm sure we're going to see that replicated tonight on this series. Kasperzik, it's going to be a wild evening. It surely is. Tom Brunel, good evening. Alan Brown, good evening. There's a lot of you watching right now, so thank you. And what we're going to do, we're going to join on board for a lap around here. I'm going to take you through a lap. I'm going to do my best with my struggling voice tonight and take you on board with a lap. We're going to go on board with Francesco Adamu as he heads down into the infamous sunset bend. With that sun glaring into his cockpit, he's weaving left to right, getting the heat into the tyres, and we're ready to start a lap around Sebring for qualifying in the Hypercar series. Let's just bring you up the Hypercar category on the left. And here we go, first flying lap of the evening into turn 1. It's going to be a left-hander. Pick your braking point on the right-hand side. Swing the car in. Understeer, but he hooks it up on the outside curb. Heavy braking into turn 3, which is another left-hander. You then quickly flick the car right, flick the car left for turn 5, 4 and 5. It's on the power, avoiding too much curb on the right-hand side. Now all the way through the big bend, which is turn 6, and down into the hairpin, which will probably be a very good overtaking opportunity tonight. So again, pick your braking zone, heavy on the brakes, don't lock up, get the car turned in, straighten it up and on the loud pedal all the way through turns 8 and 9. And then we're coming up to turn 10, which is a 90-degree right-hander. Again, watching the understeer, those tyres are a little bit cold, not up to temp. It's a Collier corner now, and then into turn 12 and 13, which is called Tower. And a little bit of brake lock in there, but he flicks it right. Again, straighten the car up onto the power and through turn 14, which is called Bishop. And it all should be fully flat through here. and turns 15, and in Le Mans corner, turn 16, again straighten that car up and all the way down the Ullman straight. This is where the time can be won and lost heading into Sunset. And this is the great corner of Sunset, as we can see a shot there of the car. So again, keep it nice and tight, don't clip the wall on the left hand side, which he doesn't. He straightens the car up and across the line. Francesco Adamu, what will it be? It's going to be a 144.9. Let's actually get you that on the screen. There we go. Who else do we have on board? Adam Moden is coming around turn 1. So Francesco Adamu setting the pace currently with a 44.9. Adam Sesplar 45.4. So half a second off Adamu. And Dominic Illinger currently P3. Adam Moden P4. Domikos Kiss is exploring parts of the circuit, finding time. He won't be finding time out there on the grass, but Domikos Kiss currently sitting 5th place. Valerio Ascioni occupying 6th spot currently. Timo Braun and Geitz 8th. 7th and 8th, and Benjamin Eck 9th. Who has not set a time yet? Everyone set a time. Maurizio Savona, though, is the slowest with a 2 minutes, so he's had a slow initial lap. And Jan Barth occupying 15th as well, but he's going quicker on this lap as he comes round Sunset. Let's see if he can improve. As Adam Sesplar boxes for potentially a little bit of fresh tyres or refuel. So Jan does improve. Where's Adamu? Can he improve as he's gone purple in that first sector into the final corner of Sunset? Look at the car bouncing up and down on the curb. The suspension earning its money tonight. Beautiful shot there, the sun and the car. Across the line, Francesco Adamu, can he improve for 44.9? He does not. So that's Sesplar coming out of the pits. Adam Moden has improved 45.1. Oh, it's his roll! That is a big one. He's improved, but he won't be improving that lap. That's him done. Dominic Illinger, as he loses it as well. Into the barrier. The driver's really struggling for grip. They're trying to push the limits. And the car is just saying, no thank you. Just trying to get on board with a driver who is potentially improving. Benjamin across the line. Doesn't improve. That's him done. Dominic Illinger, as he loses it as well. Into the barrier. The driver's really struggling for grip. They're trying to push the limits. The car is just saying, no thank you. So I was just checking some sound quality there. You might have heard my voice twice there. Apologies for that. So top 5 occupied by the Ferrari. The Ferrari seems to be the car of choice around here again tonight. We're just trying to find a driver who is potentially improving. I'm just struggling with telemetry at the moment, so apologies for that. I'll try and give you better insight when the GT3s are on track, but my telemetry is just having a moment, so I can't quite see who's on an improving lap. Let's have a quick look at Chris Jones, because he has gone quicker in that first sector from what I can see on my telemetry. He's currently sitting in 11th place, but 3 seconds off. But yeah, the top 5 first couple of rows occupied by that Ferrari. Alan Brown, there must be oil in turn 1. It looks like it, doesn't it, Alan? There's a lot of cars struggling at turn 1. So, yeah, careful when you go out with the GT3s. It's Chris Jones into Sunset. He's improving, but look at that Cadillac just really suffering over the curbs and over the bumps rather than curbs. And that is Chris Jones spinning live on air on a Friday night. He won't want to see that one back. Benjamin Eggs in the pit. Cody Besselink, he's down in 14th, 3.5 seconds off. He needs to find an improved time in the BMW, which is one of 3. The BMW towards the bottom of the pack in this quali session, as we're coming up really to the final minute or 2 of this quali session, as Francesco Adamu, who is currently occupying that pole position, has gone quicker in sector 1, but he's slower in sector 2, but he's coming into Sunset. Can he improve? You can see how tricky it is on board for that final corner. So close to the wall. He does not improve at the 45.2. Where is Adam Moden, the potential challenger, 2 tenths off? Has he got time for another lap? I think he has, as he's struggling. Oh, no, that's him done. Adam Sesplar. Now he's improved in the middle sector. Can he improve from his 45.4? He doesn't. Dominic Illinger. As Johannes Priest splits up the Ferrari party and puts the Peugeot on the second row of the grid in P4. Great lap from Johannes. Dominic Illinger still showing out on track, as is Adam Sesplar. Where is Adam? He's gone purple in that first sector, so we'll stick on board with Adam and see what he can do. He's currently 3rd place, 5 tenths off. Gone quicker in that middle sector as well. This is looking a good lap from Adam. Is it enough for 5 tenths? I don't think it is, looking at those sector times, but it might get him on the front row in P2. We'll see what the 83 Ferrari can do. He's round Sunset again. Look at the bumps. The car's just... Oh, it's a bumpy ride. Across the line. What can he do? He improves. He's on the front row. It's P2 for Adam Sesplar. He's just over a tenth off. It's not enough to dislodge Francesco Adamu, who takes pole position here at Sebring. But it's a great lap, nonetheless, from Sesplar to get on the front row of that 83 Ferrari. So we have a Ferrari lockout there, with Johannes Priest occupying P4, and now we switch our attentions to the GT3 category. So just a reminder, this is the pro server, so if you haven't been with us the previous 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of this season had a very big grid as they were seeding rounds, and this is now from Sebring onwards the pro category server. So these drivers have been put into this split based on their first 2 rounds of performances and results. So we're here with the best drivers that Formula Racing League has on offer, and Kaspersik has been one man who has been setting the pace in GT3 category. And I'm just trying to pick up a on board that is suitable, but the cameraman does not seem to be working. I need to dock his wages for that. So Kaspersik around the first corner. We'll stick on board for him this lap. Let's try and get on board with him. Here we go. This is a better view. Thank you, Mr. Cameraman. Front on it cam off the BMW Team WRT. Let's see what he can do. I'll just refresh the GT3 timings on the left hand side of your screen there. There we go. So Kasperzik currently with a 205.3 for the BMW. He's improving already in that first sector. Tom Curtin P2 and Lysick P3. But every driver is finding time out there as the tyres warm up. Again, finding time, purple middle sector for Kasperzik. Into Sunset. You can see how bumpy it is on board of the BMW when it comes around this corner. Hugging the wall tight. Doing a little bit of aero rush from the BMW up ahead potentially. No, it seems pretty okay. And across the line, is he going to improve on the 205.3? He does. It's a 201.9, so almost, what, 4 seconds quicker. So Kasperzik is still on provisional pole as we see Lysick goes P2. We're on board, and Bigot on the second row P3. Rudy Vermeulen. And, Stephen Moss, sorry, I'm just flicking between all the drivers. Everyone's times are thoroughly updating, are extremely quick. So let's just go back on board with Tom Curtin, because he's going to be the next driver who's at the sharp end of the grid across the line. You can see the left hand side of your screens. The time's just constantly updating as that second run of quali is just really finding time for the GT3 cars. As Joseph Chadder onto the front row, 7 tenths off pole position, however. A formidable challenger in this championship thus far. It's mainly been Kasperzik and Chadder fighting it out up top. But Giovanni's been in there as well. But Giovanni currently finds himself in 13th position. So he's got work to do as well. Let's just see what Tom Curtin can do though. So into Sunset for the BMW 46, Tom Curtin onto the brakes, easing off the brakes onto the accelerator, keeping the car nice and tight, easy on the accelerator, and then he goes full throttle. Now his original time was a 205 flat. He's got to improve. Where does he go? He goes up to P6, so a 204 flat, so a second gained, but not enough. He's still 2 seconds off the pole time as Lysick goes across the line and takes P2. He's now 2 tenths off Kasperzik. Kasperzik is out there on track. We can see him now, but he's not gone quicker in the first sector. Where's Chadder? Let's go on board with the Porsche driver. Joseph Chadder as Giovanni P2. So again, these times just tumbling for GT3s. The track is coming to them and the tyres temperature is coming to them. Full throttle. So Giovanni only a tenth off Kasperzik now. Joseph is going quicker. He's found what? I can't quite see my screen. Is that 2 tenths? 3 tenths. So he needs to find a little bit more time than that, Joseph. He's 7 tenths off pole, but he's found 3 in the first sector. He's gone purple in the middle. Ever so little touch wide for the Porsche, but just enough to hopefully not lose too much time. So into the final corner of Sunset. A little bit hesitant on the throttle. So what can he do? 202.6 previously. Can he improve? He does. Good enough for P3. So a 202.1. So literally just under 2 temps, under 3 temps separate the top 4. Lysic's not improving. Where's Giovanni? He's not improving. Is Kasprick improving? No. So nobody is improving at the moment. We've still got just under a minute left now. So these drivers coming across the line have got time to set another lap. As Giovanni's in the pits, Tom Curtin's in the pits, Craig Starkey's found himself in P7. He's improving even more as he's coming around the final corner in the Ford Mustang. Look at that raging engine off the Mustang. And he improves. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He remains P7. Apologies, that was my overlay just being a little bit funny. Alex Nieto, he's in the pits. So it's all down to Kasprick, but he is going slower, so he's not going to improve this time. So Kasprick occupying the pole position in GT3 category. He's got just under 2 temps in his pocket compared to the cars behind. Giovanni has boxed, Lasic's boxed, Biggett's boxed, Nieto's boxed, Starkey's boxed. So I think his only challenger is potentially Joseph Chadder. And he's going quicker in the first and middle sector. Joseph Chadder could be on to steal pole position from Kasprick, the BMW driver. It's BMW versus Porsche here, I think. Let's stick on board with Chadder because I think we've potentially got a challenger for pole position here. The gap of 185 to pole, and he's improving in the first few sectors. Gone purple. Can he keep it hooked through sunset? Is the Porsche traction going to do him any favours? We're about to find out any moment. Can Joseph Chadder take pole position here at Sebring and round 3 of the Formula Racing League? He does! Pole position for Joseph Chadder. What a lap. What a lap. It's almost half a second quicker than Kasprick. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What a lap from the Porsche driver. And let's just give you now confirmation of that result in in Hypercar. So Francesco Adamu takes pole position in Hyper, Adam Sesplar P2, Adam Moden P3. And in GT3, Joseph Chadder, Kasprick and Giovanni is the top 3 for qualifying there. It's what a fantastic session that was. That was really close. And look at that, just as the qualifying finishes, my overlays and telemetry comes back online with the split times. So apologies I couldn't give you too much information there with the split times. There's a bit of a gremlin there in the IT, but it seems to be back online now, ready for the race. So the starting order tonight will be Francesco Adamu will lead Adam Sesplar on row 1. Row 2 will be Adam Moden and Johannes Priest. Row 3 will be Dominic Ellinger and Domikos Kiss. And row 4 will be Valerio Ascioni and Brandon Geitz in P7 and 8. Row 5, Alex Alfonso and Patrick Dent. And row 6, Timo Braun and Chris Jones in P11 and 12 respectively. P13 is Benjamin Eck and P14 is Cody Besselink. And Jan Barth and Maurizio Savona occupy 15th and 16th on row 8. Row 9 is Joseph Chadder and Kasprick, which is the GT3s P1 and 2. P3 and 4 is William Giovanni and Danilo Lysic. Biggett and Nieto occupy row 11. Craig Starkey, Danny Gould, row 12.
Go to the grid for a race start.
Stephen Martin and Tom Curtin for row 13. And row 14 is Nigel Longdon and Rudy Vermeulen in the 46 BMWs. Pavel Vetlugens and Derek Brugh occupy 29th and 30th overall in row 15, and row 16 brings you Mark Stewart and Carl Van Horn in the Aston Martin. Okay, that's the starting order. Let's just getting everything back up for you on your screen so you can watch live. There we go. So we're going to be on board with the Ferraris at the front of Francesco Adamu and Adam Cesplar. So Cesplar will be the orange Ferrari, the yellow Ferrari. Orange Ferrari? Sorry, apologies. It's yellow Ferrari. And Adamu will be the red Ferrari. I think I've got that correct. Yes. So, as you can see, it's going to be a nighttime race here at Sebring.
Formation lap has started.
So Adamu, Cesplar, Moden and Priest is your top four. As the cars come round the final corner, ready to start this race. Here we go in the Pro Split Round 3 of Formula Racing League, powered by Cube Controls, our main series sponsor for this season. We're about to go racing in Florida at Sebring, the bumpy Sebring, and we are green flag, and here we go. And Priest has got a great start on Cesplar. They're almost 3 wide behind Adamu. Adamu's got a comfortable lead into turn 1. He goes into turn 1. Adam Moden has got ahead of Cesplar, so Cesplar's dropped black, and now he's going to be under pressure from Johannes Priest into turn 3. He goes defensive, and they all stay pretty much single file. Illinger, Kiss, Dietz, it's all pretty good racing. Let's have a quick look behind in GT3, because Joseph Chadder... Oh, Joseph Chadder's got contact with a Hyper. They've got numerous contact with a BMW just absolutely sending it. Oh, there's contact. They've got a car off. We've got a Hyper car off. I don't know who that is. It's Besselink. It's Besselink. Besselink is off. Oh, nightmare start for Besselink. But Adamu, Moden and Cesplar is your top 3 in Hypercar. They've got away cleanly. Johannes Priest still 4th. Dominic Illinger 5th. Let's just see what's happened to Chadder, because Chadder's lost a couple of places. Actually, no, he's lost 1 place. He's still occupying. He's in P3. Lysick has improved to P2 in the BMW. So, oh, we've got action behind Giovanni. So Chadder on pole position. It's now down in 3rd, and he's got Giovanni behind him, who then got Alex Nieto in the other Porsche. So Jan Barth has also gone off. So we saw him had an incident last week with Chris Jones. He's back down there, and Pavel Vetlugens has got a severely damaged GT3. So bad news for them. But let's go on board with the front pack as the first lap is completed with Hypercar. And behind we've got Priest, we've got Illinger, who are side by side. So Illinger and Kiss, I believe it is. It's the 51 of Dominic Illinger and Domikos Kiss, the fifth car 50, with Brandon Geitz behind. Brandon Geitz actually has had a... No, he's okay, sorry, I thought you had it off. So, but Adam Moden now only 4 tenths behind the leader of Francesco Adamu. What a start. It's a fairly clean start from everyone, wasn't it, really? It was, all things considering. Just looking at the back, Timo Braun in the BMW is just getting a little bit racy with Chris Jones, the 311 Cadillac. This is the battle for 12th and 13th in Hypercar. Oh, as we've got a spin up. That's Benjamin Eck. Benjamin Eck, I think. Benjamin Eck pointing the wrong way. Braun is really close to Chris Jones now. Is he going to make a move? I think he might do here. No, he's just going to sit in behind. It's a really hard part of the track to overtake there. As Chris has gone wide, Braun's going to get a nice run now, I would imagine. If he can... Oh, no. Chris managed to keep the speed up, the minimum apex speed up. Brandon Geitz and Johannes Priest, the two Peugeot drivers coming round Sunset. And let's go back on board with the GT3s because Kasperzik's got just over half a second lead on Danilo Lysak. P2 for him. Chada is P3, Alex Nieto P4 and Giovanni P5. We'll give you a full rundown of the running order in a couple of laps time once it's just calmed down as we go on board with Derek, because he is challenging the Aston Martin of Carl Van Horn. He looks to the inside going into Sunset. Is he going to make this move stick? He does. Fantastic move from Derek there, as Carl is trying to come back on the inside, but this is going to be Aston Martin versus Ford Mustang power in Florida. Side by side into turn one. That's very wide for Van Horn in the Aston Martin. Oh, we got a car spinner there. Who was that? Not sure who that was on the inside of turn one, but both drivers did very well to avoid it. On board with Giovanni, he's looking extremely racy with Alex Nieto side by side into the hairpin. Giovanni, he's going to get the move done. Fantastic move from William Giovanni up into P4. Let's just give you the positions gained and lost then for Hypercar. So pretty even start. You know, a lot of ones on the grid. The big gainer there is Maurizio Savona. He's up 3 places in P13. The biggest loser, it sounds a bit wrong when I say that, is Besselink down in 16th. And in GT3, positions gained and lost. Yeah, a bit more position changes. Timo Biggett is the guy who's lost out the most on the GT3 category, down 5 places, but Rudy Vermeulen up 4. And you can see Joseph Chada, who was occupying pole position in GT3. We saw that mega lap at the end of qualifying, just finds himself down 2 places. As Giovanni has made a mistake because he's back behind Alex Nieto. We did see him go up to 4th, but he's back behind the Porsche driver, so not sure what's happened between there to go into turn 1. Low camera shot there, we can see it's a clear night in Florida. You can see the stars racing under the stars here at Sebring International Raceway, as Giovanni's so much more confident over the curbs in that BMW. Is he going to make a move into the hairpin? Nieto just going a little bit defensively and maintains the P4 in GT3 category. Benjamin Egg we saw spinning off. He's now down in 14th place. He's looking to recover though with Maurizio Savona into the final corner of Sunset. He might be looking for a move into turn 1. Savona takes the inside defensive line into turn 1. Benjamin Eck on the outside, the left hand side of your screen. Around the outside. No, not. Or maybe I spoke too soon. Is Savona going to push him? No, so now he's on the inside, the side by side, and Benjamin Eck's got the move done before the braking zone. Benjamin Eck moves up into P13. Johannes Priest just gaining on Dominikos Kiss as well. So chat, I'm just going to be back with you in 60 seconds just while I quickly refresh my drink because my voice is hanging on for dear life with still over an hour to go. Just bear with me for 60 seconds, chat. I'll be back with you in a jiffy. Okay, I'm back. Apologies for the delay there in commentary. I was just grabbing a drink as we're on board with Timo Bigot, who is battling away with Rudy Vermeulen, and they've got hypercars coming through as well, so a very busy part of the track. We've got the yellow flag marshals waving vigorously, a yellow flag somewhere on track as the Mustang goes a little bit deep there. So what we're going to do is bring you a run through of the order. So Francesco Adamu is leading this race. P2 is Adam Sesplar, back up to P2. Adam Moden occupies P3 and Dominic Illinger is 4th. Johannes Priest 5th, Brandon Geitz 6th, Dominikos Kiss 7th. Around sunset we see Kiss just trying to avoid that Mustang on the outside. Valerio apologies. Valerio Ascioni, my voice is really not helping me tonight. I'm going to mention that numerous times, so Just take a pound coin for every time I mention my voice tonight. Valerio Ascioni, P8. Patrick Den, P9. And Timo Braun, P10. Chris Jones, P11. Benjamin Eck, P12. Maurizio Savona, P13. And Alex Afonso, who's doing a little bit of grass cutting there in the Peugeot, is in 14th. 15th and 16th in class is Jan Barth and Cody Besseling, but they're running quite a way behind after having offs earlier on in this race. Switching to GT3, Kasprizik is setting the pace and setting the charge to the checkered flag with 1 hour 6 minutes remaining in P1 GT3. Just 2 seconds back from Kasprizik is Danilo Lysak, and Joseph Chadder, the Porsche driver who was on pole position, occupies third. Just a second separates him and Lysak. Alex Nieto, the other Porsche, P4, and Danny Gold, P5, as Alex Alfonso has had an off. Alex Alfonso is trying to make his way back to the pits. There he is. Not sure what's happened there. Danny Gold, P5, Tom Curtin, P6, and Rudy Vermeulen, P7. Craig Starkey, P8, and Timo Biggett, P9. And rounding out the top 10 in GT3 is Stephen Martin. P11 and 12 is Nigel Longden and Derek Brutt. P13 is Mark Stewart, and P14 is Carl Van Horn, who's in the pits. Carl Van Horn's in the pits. Pavel Lugens all the way down in P15, but he's going to be making his way up as Carl Van Horn is in the pits. And last but not least, who is a DNF from this race, is William Giovanni. So William Giovanni, who was running in P4 or 5 at one point. I've completely missed that, so apologies for Giovanni fans, but yeah, he's had an absolute shocker somewhere and DNF in this race. I'm not sure what's happened there. We've missed that on stream, but let's jump on board with Johannes Priest, because the action is hotting up between him and Dominic Illinger. The gap is down to 0.3 of a second. The Peugeot versus Ferrari here at Sebring. What can Johannes do? He's putting Dominic Illinger under some pressure now. And in terms of comments, just reading what the chat have been saying, don't understand why there isn't a bigger gap between the two categories at the start. Yeah, so that is, from what I understand, that is a LMU thing. They do have kind of no staggered starts. It's not like iRacing where it's a little bit more separate, but even that isn't great either. So that is one part that sim racing does need to improve on in the multi-class racing, certainly on LMU from what I understand, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there isn't a split start. It's pretty much just back to back, so that is why it can get a little bit clumsy at the start, especially if you have hypercars that are going off in the first couple of corners as well. They have no tyre warmers, so the tyres will be cold on the first few laps for hypers. So Kasprizik gap to Adamu, the gap to Cesplar 6.7, and that is increasing each and every lap for Adamu. Let's have a quick look as well at the. Sorry, I'm trying to get my overlays to work. The energy remaining, as you can see there, the hypercars down to around 52-53%. Chris Jones saving a little bit more with 60% energy usage remaining, but the top 4, top 5, top 7 are all pretty even. Cesplar a couple of percent in hand over Adamu, but that gap is 6.5 seconds. And the gap between Kasprizik and Lysak is 3 seconds. So GT3 is a little closer at the top. Let's just quickly jump on board with Danny Gould, because he's closing in on Alex Nieto. And Alex Nito's got hypercars left and right, and a Mustang behind. What can Danny Gould do? Quite a tricky place to overtake at Sebring. There is obviously overtaking opportunities into the hairpin, into Sunset, into turn 1 potentially if you've got the overspeed. But it's a track that I would say is risky. You know, there's certainly not one corner that is risk-free to overtake around here. You do need to be careful with the car placement, with your braking, with your throttle control. Just a quick mention as well to our series title sponsor for this season, Cube Controls. Fantastic Italian sim hardware up for grabs this season to the winners of both Hypercar and GT3 in the Pro Series and the AM Series, which is not being live streamed this evening. The AM Series will, one lucky winner from Split 2 will also receive a prize from Cube Control. So a huge thank you to them supporting Formula Racing League with this season. It's fantastic to have them on board. They really are a top-notch premium sim hardware company. Italian engineering, Italian design, Italian handmade. And if you're in the market for some new wheels, new pedals, please do check out Cube Controls' website. So we're still on board with the battle between P4 and 5 in GT3, which is Alex Nato and Danny Gould. They are the closest set of cars on track at the moment. Just looking at the telemetry, Timo Biggett is closing in on Tom Curtin. So the battles on track are mainly happening in GT3. Hypers are a lot more spread out around Sebring this week. We saw the gaps between them at Le Mans last week was a lot closer, but Sebring is proving challenging for a lot of drivers. As we see the traffic there, that is a back marker, I believe. No, it isn't. That isn't the back marker. That's some disrespect, isn't it? That's Craig Starkey. So a three-way battle here between 6, 7 and 8 in GT3. Tom Curtin, Timo Biggett, Craig Starkey. Three-way battle. Two BMWs and Craig Starkey in the Ford Mustang going down the Allman Straight into Sunset as Biggett has a look to the inside. They go side by side into Sunset, and the Mustang almost had to get out of the throttle there to avoid the BMW, who was just a little bit early on the brakes. So Biggett moves up to P6. Tom Curtin drops to 7th, but he's under pressure from Craig Starkey now. So what can Craig Starkey do? The Ford Mustang, he's on the outside of turn 1. Can he make the move happen? No, but can he try and cut back and get the power down? Maybe. Oh, he's gone wide. He's gone wide. But it's not over between Tom Curtin and Biggett either. Down the inside, Tom Curtin. Has he made it stick? No, he hasn't. Biggett's kept the move, but he's gone a little bit deep. Biggett's gone a bit deep, has he? No, it's okay. It's looking okay. They're going to go into the hairpin. The Mustang is still looking interested. He's watching with intent. He's now drew alongside. So they're going to go 3 wide almost, or 2 wide at least, into the hairpin. We've got the flashing lights of the BMW into the heavy brake, and is there avoiding contact? They do. Curtin, Biggett with some great driving, but Craig Starkey's got the move done on Tom Curtin. So Tom Curtin in the space of half a lap has lost out to both Timo Biggett and Craig Starkey. So great racing between the three of them, battling it out for P5, P6, 7 and 8. But who's joined the party? Rudy Vermeulen. With these 3 guys battling away, he's like, hang on, I want a piece of this pie, piece of this cake. Let me join the battle, guys. So Rudy Vermeulen now closing in on the rear of Tom Curtin. We've got more marshals waving more yellow flags. So a quick jump on board with Joseph Chadder, because he is just closed up as well to the rear end of Danilo Lasek. So Chatter just sitting in behind Lasik, just trying to pick an opportunity. He might get this opportunity into the hairpin. He's very close behind the BMW. Is Lasik going to go defensive into the hairpin? We're about to find out. No. Porsche just has a little look to the inside just to try and put the BMW driver off, but it's going to have to try a little bit harder than that. So this is the battle between P2 and 3 in GT3 category. Meanwhile, Kaspersik is now 4 seconds up the road, so he'll be looking down, potentially looking at his telemetry and thinking, I want to see these two drivers battle because it's helping my race. As you can see on the left hand side of your screens, the gaps in the hyper category just a little elongated at the moment. Not too much on track action in terms of overtakes happening in hyper. The closest battle we've got is potentially between Illinger and Priest in P4 and 5. Just under a second now, Johannes Priest potentially gaining on Illinger as he's going through some GT3 traffic, navigating that. That is where the time is lost and won in multi-class racing. The Hypers getting through the GT3s and the GT3s as well, losing and gaining time in traffic. It goes both ways, takes two to tango. And tango, though, they do a lot. Looks like Johannes has just lost out there a little bit of time to Illinger. Gap was under a second, it's now 1.5 across the line. As Patrick Den is in the pits for a DNF for the hypercar drivers. So the hypercars are dropping like flies this evening. Sebring is claiming a lot of hypercar carbon fibre. Danny Gould, Danny Nieto, was on board with these guys several laps ago. The GT3 driver is just having to watch out for the hypercar off the Peugeot coming through. Just a reminder, guys, please do drop a like on the video, and if you are watching, drop a comment in the chat. It'd be good to chat to a few of you who are watching live. Let us know who you want to see. If you want me to go on board with a certain driver, then let me know. Craig Starkey, Timo Biggert, the Mustang, still battling away with Biggert and Rudy Vermeulen and Tom Curtin, the two BMWs. So into Sunset, the final corner, and the helicam. Vermeulen having a look to the inside. He's still having a look to the inside, but a bit of a wider line for Tom Curtin. But the order remains as is. Tom Curtin ahead of Rudy Vermeulen. And Joseph Chadder is very close to Lasik. There's a battle for P2 side by side into the hairpin. The Porsche driver comes out behind, but this is now very close between P2 and 3 in GT3 category. What can Joseph Chadder do in the Porsche? As he has a look to the inside, he doesn't go for it, but again, he's just reminding the interview driver he's there, he's ready to make a move, become any mistake whatsoever, any weakness shown by that interview driver. Lasik, Chadder will be there to hopefully take advantage of. As Chener goes a little bit wide, he's going to keep it straight. He rejoins the track. A little bit of a Code Brown moment there for the Porsche driver, as he's got the hypercar now coming through on the outside. Be careful. He's lost time there to Lasik. Gap 4.7. I will say the gap between Adamu and Cesplar, so the top two in hypercar, it was 6.5 seconds. It's down just under 6 seconds. So the gap just down ever so slightly between Francesco Adamu and Cesplar. But so far, Francesco Adamu driving an absolute flawless race with 50 minutes remaining. And on that note, I'm again just going to take a vocal cord rest just for a minute and refresh my water. I'll be back with you in 60 to 90 seconds. I'm back with you here on Friday evening, round 3 of the Formula Racing League Season 2 on Le Mans Ultimate. And you have joined the live stream with Francesco Adamu setting the pace in hypercar and Kasprzyk leading in the GT3 category, with both having fairly healthy leads. One driver who hasn't got a healthy lead is Danny Gould, because he's under pressure from Alex Nieto. Danny Gould has got past his man and he's up into P4, beg your pardon. Alex Alfonso, who we saw entering the pits earlier on with a missing rear wing, he's now back on track and running down in 27th overall and last in hypercar. He's having to make his way back up through the GT3 field. Besselink, Bath, Savona all running. And again, Adamu just setting purple lap times off in sector 2. See, the gap though is back down to under 6 seconds, so a little bit of yo-yoing between 6.5, 5.8 seconds between Adamu and Cesplar, but I think Adamu's got this under control. And what he has as well, the advantage he has with this gap, Adamu, is the ability to not be under pressure when it comes to being undercut with the pit straps. And just looking at the energy remaining there, you can see on the left hand side of your screens how much energy storage the drivers have remaining. Again, Chris Jones 32%, Bath and Besselink at the back with that 38, 39%. But the front two, very similar. And then you've got Modin, Priest and Illinger all on 24% remaining. just confirmation that none of these drivers have made a stop apart from Beth Barth and Besselink. Illinger, Dominic Illinger, he's closing in on Johannes Priest, or Johannes Priest just got by? I'm not quite sure. I can't remember if Priest was catching Illinger or was it the other way around, but either way, they're running only 3 tenths apart, Johannes Priest and Dominic Illinger. Chadder is still trying to find a way by Danilo Lacer. That's going to be interesting with the pit stops with these two, because these two have been literally nose to tail for quite some time now, the last good 15-20 minutes. And if you are watching the live stream and you're not yet involved within Formula Racing League, then please do check out their Discord. As I mentioned at the start of this stream, Formula Racing League are involved with many sims across the board. ACC, Le Mans Ultimate, rFactor 2, and even a little bit of iRacing. Now, there is no official series running on iRacing, but there are drivers who are involved in it. So if you're looking for a new league to race in, or a new community to join with like-minded people, like-minded sim racers, share off pictures of your rigs, ask for tech advice, or even talk about the latest Formula 1 race results, then do check out the Formula Racing League Discord. They are a very friendly bunch. Most of them anyway. Just seen a change of position here for Besselink and Jan Barth. Besselink moving past Barth, I believe. Gap out in front now, 7.7 seconds. Adamu really is stretching the legs of the prancing horse in the Ferrari AF Corsa. And Chadder and Lasek yet again toing and throwing with lap times, and Chadder just trying to put the BMW driver off, having a weave, having a dive. It ain't going to work. He's just doing everything he can to try and mentally shake the BMW driver, but Lasek is driving superbly. You know, he's not making mistakes. They've got to watch out for these hypercars as they flash on their way through. But you must say this is superb driving from Danilo, because he's not succumbing to the pressure of the Porsche. He's just, you know, he'll have his headlights in his rear view mirror. You'll see him faking moves at the inside on the hairpin and into sunset, but he's just saying, no, I'm nice and controlled what I'm doing. However, Chadder does look a lot closer this time around. So Danilo, the BMW goes defensive side by side into the hairpin, but the BMW is going to have the defensive line into the hairpin, and unless the cutback is going to be on for the Porsche, it isn't. So again, it's just fantastic car placement from Lasek in the BMW. Just no way past at the moment for Joseph Chadder. I'm sure he'll be getting a little bit frustrated, but perhaps confident that he's going to have the pace in the long run, and he's going to have an opportunity with the pit stops to make it up potentially. Let's see if he does another move. So again, middle of the track, then pull into the racing line for the BMW. The Porsche, you can see now with its headlights staring down the rear wing of this BMW. Again, you can see how tighter the Porsche is through sunset, but the BMW will have the grunt down the straight compared to the Porsche. Into turn one, flicking the car left. Don't clip the wall, don't go too wide either. Car placement really is pretty spot on there. Look for the orange cone on the railings on the left hand side to spot your accelerator position as the laser just goes a little bit deep into turn three. That will open the door to Chadder, who's now side by side. They've got the hypercar trying to come through as well. It's going to be 3 wide as my voice hangs on for dear life. It's coming down into the hairpin. Joseph Chadder, the BMW, goes defensive again, but no, he's left the door open this time. But is he too far back to make a move? He is. So the Porsche is just going to again tuck in behind, try and look for the switchback on traction, and he might have had it. He's asking for room. He's going to get the room. Is they going to go side by side into Tower? I think they are. This is the opportunity that Chadder has been hoping for. They've got the Peugeot flashing its lights as well. Again, to the inside, the BMW goes going defensive around the outside. The Porsche, he's not going to make that stick. The traction not working for him out there. Neither is my voice either. I do apologise, I keep mentioning it, but I've had man flu all week. And it's affecting my vocal cords a lot, hell of a lot. Oh, great driving between these two. Great battling is exactly what we want to see on a Friday night. So 9 seconds now lead for Francesco Adamu. He really has got complete control of this race over Adam Cespelar. Ilunga and Priest gap just decreasing ever so slightly. Rudy Vermeulen setting green lap times as he's on his case, on his charge to hunt down P8, which is Tom Curtin. Nine-second lead for Kasprizik as well. So both drivers in the respective winning positions in Hypercar and GT3 are enjoying very healthy leads. 9.8 second lead for Adamu and 9.8 as well for Lysick. So replica gaps between Hypercar and GT3 leaders. In Ligo and Priest, again, gap remaining about 0.8 of a second. Chadder, who we've been witnessing on track, trying to get past the BMW of Lasek in GT3. Gap just dropped to 1.5, so we won't go back on the board with them until we know that's heating up. And talking about heating up, Benjamin Eck is looking to heat up some party here because he's hunting down Chris Jones, the head admin for Le Mans Ultimate on Formula Racing League. Chris Jones currently occupying P10 in hypercar category, but coming under pressure from Benjamin Eck, who we saw spinning off on lap 2 or 3. So the BMW and the Porsche and Cadillac respective drivers, so they just navigate a Ford Mustang on the start-finish straight. So Chris Jones into turn 1, followed by Benjamin Eck. The battle for P10 and 11. No move yet from the Swede. So you can see Dominic Illinger is the first one into the pits in hypercar. Shortly we'll be following, will probably be Adam Moden, because he's closed right up to Cesplar. I think Cesplar potentially made a mistake because the gap between him and Adamu has dropped to 10-11 seconds. So Moden is now using an opportunity to close the gap to Adam Cesplar, but he has got less energy storage left compared to Adam Cesplar, the driver ahead. As we see Craig Starkey also coming into the pits, the first in for legitimate stops in GT3 category. And Benjamin Eck, where's Chris Jones gone? It's Dominic Illinger. So Dominic Illinger's rejoined, but he's rejoined ahead of Benjamin Eck, who was battling Chris Jones. So Benjamin Eck losing out there in the battle versus Chris Jones, being spoilt by Dominic Illinger, who's now out of the box. And Maurizio Savona is now also coming into the pits, as most of the top guys are. So Adam Cesplar is in, Adam Moden is in, Johannes Priest is in, Adamu is in, and Brandon Geitz is in. Domikos Kiss, where is he? He's also coming in, I believe. He is Ascioni. So this is the lap for all the GT3 drivers. Who's going to be the first to emerge? It's Adamu, as you would expect with the lead he had. But I tell you what, the gap has shrunk considerably. So I'm not whether Adamu was carrying a little bit of damage or he's made more adjustments at the stop, or fuel, tyre change, I'm not sure. But the gap of really, it was what, 10 seconds between the two. It's now less than a second, so not sure what happened there. If you do know in the comments, then feel free to let me know. I'm none the wiser. Chris Jones is occupying P3 currently, but he's not yet made a stop. And the GT3s are starting to box as well. Kasprizik is still out Joseph Chadder. What's Chadder and Lasik going to do in terms of boxing? Because the back half of the GT3 field are starting to box, so it could be this lap in for the leaders in GT3 category. We'll stay on board with Chadder and Lasik. So into the box they both go. So it's going to be the battle of the pit crews between BMW and Porsche, and the drivers in terms of fuel, tyres, damage, repairs, adjustments, etc. So Lasik leads in Chadder, the Porsche driver. They've been battling on track all the way through this race. They're now battling in the pit lane. Let's just see who will be emerging the first out of these two drivers. Kasperzik is also in. Will likely be a first. So yeah, Kasperzik is now away. That's Kasperzik leaving the pit box there. There is Lasik. And what's happening with Chadder? Is he moving yet? Oh. I think Chadder's got ahead of him. He has! Chadder is ahead of Lasik. Position change in the pit. So he spent the last 40 odd minutes battling on track, trying to get past the BMW. He's managed to do it in the pit lane. So Joseph Chadder emerges in P2. Rudi Vermeulen has currently inherited the lead of the race, but he has not yet stopped. Oh, hang on. Kasperzik. Kasperzik is showing... Yes! Sorry, beg your pardon, but the race leader... Kasperzik, who had a 10-second odd lead, has also emerged from the pit lane behind Lasik and Chadder. So again, I'm a little bit confused whether it's just more fuel damage repairs potentially. But Kasperzik, who was comfortably leading this race in GT3, has now got work to do. He's 1.5 seconds back from Lasik, who's currently 8 tenths back from the Porsche driver of Joseph Chadder. Rudi Vermeulen is currently showing on your screens as the race leader in GT3, but he hasn't yet stopped. Just switching back to Hypercar for a moment. So the gap out in front, Francesco Adamu and Adam Sesplar, 1.5. So a bit of a rebuilding job for Francesco to do. He was controlling the first stint beautifully. Again, we saw both race leaders just losing their gaps in the pit lane. Lasik, though, looking pretty racy against Porsche. He's spent all race defending from him. Now the hunted has become the hunter. Adam Moden as well, closing in on Johannes Priest for the last place on the podium in Hypercar. That looked a much better line than the Peugeot, and so it seems, because he's going to be drawing alongside into turn 1. The Peugeot is going to have the inside line though. A 93 of Johannes Priest. Is Moden going to get a move done? He says going defensive the Peugeot into turn 3. He went to the left to block off the Ferrari. Good defensive driving, not too aggressive. But this is the battle between P3 and 4 in hypercar category. So again, into the hairpin, Priest and Modin. Priest is a little bit of weaving there, a little bit of a double move potentially. It was one flick of the car to the right and then a re-flick to the left. Certainly on the limit of the rule book, I would say, but we'll leave that to the stewards. So this is a battle that I sense is going to be quite a feisty one the next time these drivers draw alongside each other. Very close this time round. The Ferrari going in to Sunset again. He's now drawn to the left hand side of the right hand side of the track. He's on the inside of Sunset. Peugeot's going to go wide. The Ferrari's going to have the inside, but is the Peugeot going to get the better drive out of the corner? No, it's the move is done. The move is done. Done and dusted. That is P3 for Adam Modin. 24 minutes remaining, and the Peugeot driver just couldn't hang on to that place going into the final corner of Sunset. So back over to GT3. Kasprzyk has got past Lysick. This is a three-way battle for the lead, but Lysick I just don't think has the ultimate lap pace compared to Chadha and Kasprzyk. But Kasprzyk, who we saw with a healthy lead before the pit stops, he came out third place behind Lysick and Chadha, but he's now got back up to P2, and as he's got the Porsche in his sights, as he has to avoid, could be Modin and Priest. It is. That's Modin and Priest coming through in the hypercar. So Priest is having a look up the outside there. In fact, he might have even got that move done. Let's go back on board with Priest. He has. Priest is. Oh, this looks like the first contact. A little bit of paint rubbing. They're side by side. They're still side by side. Over 3, 2, 3, 4. Side by side. There's contact. There's big. Oh, there's contact. How has he kept it straight? How has Adam Modin kept the car straight? Because there was contact, all right. That was what you call door banging in sim racing. Johannes Priest retakes third position. Well, we're on board. As my cough just re-emerges, we're on board with Kasprzyk, and then we just saw him having to avoid the Peugeot and the Ferrari. And we saw that battle developing on board the BMW, and now back on board with the Beamer, as this is the battle in for the race lead in GT3. Through turn 1, really nice line for Kasprzyk, looking much more in control of the car. But we know Chadha, he's got a race victory in his bag. We know what he can drive. Both of these drivers have been phenomenal so far in the opening rounds of this season. I can't wait to see these two on track for the rest of the races we've got coming up, which we will go through at the end of this race to show you the season calendar. So into the hairpin. Is the Porsche going to go defensive? No, he's maybe going to open that door. He's having the driver. They're side by side again. We've got a spinner. We've got a yellow flag for a hypercar. I'm not sure who that is, but these two drivers do not care in the slightest because they're battling door to door, wheel to wheel, bumper to bumper for the lead of GT3s. Down the inside, Kasprzyk dives. Can he make it stick? Chadha slams the door shut. The door might have been ajar, and his hand might have been on the door handle, but Chadha has slammed it shut in his face and said, no thank you, come again another day. You've knocked on the wrong door. 20 minutes remaining in this race, and a very aggressive defensive line into Sunset as they approach Sunset, shall I say. The pulls to the left hand side of the track. Kasperzik side by side into Sunset. He's going to have a wider line into the final corner. The long right hander, and he's already ahead. But is the Porsche going to have a better traction? He is. This is just phenomenal driving between the pair of them. The lead of the race in GT3, who is going to win this drag race, the BMW driver, has pulled ahead, and Kasperzik retakes the lead of GT3. But is it over? Is it over into turn 1? It is for now. It's not over till the fat lady sings, as Chadder will be saying to himself inside that car. But he's got a hypercar on their side as well. Got to be careful of that. But a fantastic racing yet again in GT3 category tonight. Round 3 Formula Racing League. Joseph Chadder, Kasperzik battling side by side, and Kasperzik retakes the lead of this race. Let's just switch our attention to hypercar, because Johannes Priest 0.4 behind Adam Moden. The gap between Adamu and Sesplar has now extended 7 seconds. So Adamu, whatever happened to him at the pit stop, it doesn't matter, because he's pushed that gap already out to 7 seconds. He's in complete control. He's drove superbly this race, and he's just got to bring the car home in the final 20 minutes. Just towards the back of the field in GT3, Craig Starkey just hunting down a Mark Stewart. Aston Martin and Ford. Aston Martin has a look. No. Look down the inside. It was a bit of a half-hearted move, half-hearted attempt, half-hearted look. The Ford and the Aston battling away between 11th and 12th. So again, alongside now, Craig Starkey, Mark Stewart, and the Ford driver moves ahead to take 11th position off Mark Stewart. Great racing yet again. The GT3s have been phenomenal tonight. I've really enjoyed watching the GT3s. Now, battle heating up between 3rd, 4th and 5th in hypercar, because Adam Moden is running 3rd, but just under a second behind is Johannes Priest and Dominic Illinger is P5, who we're on board with. So, 3-way battle for the final position, the final place on the podium, shall I say. And we see Moden and Priest going door to door a couple of laps ago. That is still happening, but Illinger is trying to join the party. I think he got held up by a little bit of BMW traffic there from GT3. So Moden back ahead. These two have been up and down the last couple of laps in terms of positions. He will take that final podium in category. So we're shortly ticking away into the final 15 minutes, and just so I can have a voice that brings you the action for the final 15 minutes, again I'm just going to take a quick 90-second break to refresh my drink. I'll be back with you shortly here on Formula Racing League TV. And I'm back with you as we tick under the 15-minute mark here in round 3 of the Formula Racing League at Sebring. You have joined us with 13 minutes remaining, and as you're on your left hand side of your screens now live, we've got the top 5 in each category. Francesco Adamu is leading with a 13-second gap over P2 of Adam Sesplar. P3 is Adam Moden. Johannes Priest is 4th, and Dominic Illinger occupies 5th. Johannes Priest doing a good job of throwing a cat amongst the Ferrari pigeons here at Sebring. And over in GT3, Kasperzik driving superbly. But he had to work for it a little bit. He had to work for it a little bit, coming back through Danilo Lysak and Joseph Chada. So Kasperzik leads 6.1 second lead. Joseph Chada P2, Danilo Lysak P3, Danny Gould P4, and Timo Biggett, who has worked his way up. Actually, sorry, he hasn't worked his way up. He's kind of he has worked his way up, kind of back. I think he lost a few positions at the start of the race, but Danny Gould, the big gainer in GT3, as he's up 4 places to P4. So those are your top 5 in both categories. I'm going to leave that up actually for the last 12 minutes of this race, just so you can see the podium battles going into the final part of this race. So I hope you've enjoyed the race so far. I think it's been, in parts, it's been a very exciting race. We've seen some really good one-on-one battles between numerous cars, and that's all we can wish for. The gaps in hypercar have been a little bit more extended compared to last week, but Sebring does provide that. Sebring is a lot more of a technical circuit. I feel mistakes can happen. So did we have a Ferrari GT hypercar go deep there into the hairpin? It looked like it did. Yeah, that was Adam Moden, wasn't it? Yeah, Adam Moden has just he's made a mistake. So Johannes Priest now occupies 3rd spot in hypercar. Apologies, my brain was just trying to work out what happened there. I thought I was imagining things. I was flicking between telemetry and live action. I just thought I saw a car go deep, and yes, Adam Moden has. So Johannes Priest, that battle with Moden continues on, but mistake from Adam Moden. But Priest will not care in the absolute slightest. 1 second behind. The gap in GT3 are a lot more extended. The top 3, Lasik and Gold is a 36-second gap. So I think the battle for the podiums is really only in hyper category when you have Priest, Illinger and Moden. Illinger now 0.6 behind Priest. You can see the battle on your screens right this very moment. You can see the bonnet cam of the Ferrari hunting down, looking down at the rear wing of the Peugeot, Johannes Priest, who's occupying that last podium spot in hypercar. Football quiz, Gold struggling. He seems to be dropping back a bit. Yeah, I just mentioned that gap of 36 seconds. It's back down to, well, it's gone down a second to 35. Yeah, I think Danny's struggling there a little bit. But solid performance either way. He's up 4 places. He started P8, he's now up into P4. So just a reminder of the standings for the whole of hypercar category there. On the left hand side you can see there Patrick Den, DNF in 16th, Alfonso Barth, Best of Links having 2 laps down, 4 laps down, having races where they're struggling in. Savona have been lapped as well, and Chris Jones is the lap runner on the lead lap. The top 10 there of Adamu, Sesplar, Priest, Illinger, Moden, Kiss, Geitz, Ascioni, Braun and Jones. And over in GT3 as we head into the final 8 minutes. Kasprick, Chadder, Lasik, Gold, Bigot, Nieto, Tom Curtin, Vermeulen, Derek and Nigel Longdon. It's the top 10. And we've got DNFs for Van Horn, Martin and Giovanni. On board with Illinger. The battle, you can see the gap now for under half a second. The battle for the final podium spot in hypercar category. Seven and a half minutes remaining. I think Adamu and Kasprick have got this in the bag, but you just never know what happens around Sebring. One mistake and you could be off into our barrier. Still very close between Illinger and Priest. 3/10 gap now, almost pushing each other around the corners. This is going to go into the final few minutes, this is for sure. Got to navigate the GT3 traffic. Into the hairpin. Good run now. Can he get a move that looks to the inside into Sunset? Oh, I thought he was going to go for a move there. Both pretty much slammed the brakes on at the same time. The Peugeot is now under extreme pressure from Adam Moden. No, sorry, from Dominic Illiger, to beg your pardon. Moden's dropped right back. Let's just have a look at the energy that both got remaining. So 13 and 14% respectively. Into the hairpin. Flashing lights are warning the BMW that we're coming by. They've got numerous traffic to navigate. None of them want to lose time. Was there contact there between the Peugeot and the BMW? I felt like I heard a bit of contact. So now he's under extreme pressure. The Ferrari, I think there was contact because both drivers are flashing the lights. The BMW, the background, the GT3. So it takes a defensive line. The Peugeot, the Ferrari's going to have to go around the outside. That ain't going to work from here. It's a 90-degree corner. Traction's pretty difficult there as well in the hypercars. It certainly isn't LMP2. I found that out myself when I did the Sebring 12 hours. You've got to be ever so careful on the throttle in that corner. As the rear end loves to step out. rest assured, this is the closest battle we've got on track. No other driver on the track is closer than these two, so we'll stick on board with these two because anything can happen. This could be fireworks. Into sunset again. No move for the Ferrari driver. Battle for third and fourth, I keep reminding you. It's the final few minutes tick away in this race. 3 minutes remaining. If he wants a podium here at Sebring, Dominic Illinger has got to get a move done. Is the hairpin going to be his best opportunity? He's got to get a good run out of this corner. Do not go too wide. Do not dip the car over the curve. They both pretty much nail the line through that corner, and Priest has got a good exit. I think he's going to be safe for this lap. There should be one more lap after this, I would imagine. As you can see at the top of your screens, class leaders Adamu and Kasperzik, 15 and 14 second lead respectively. 2 laps remaining of this race. Great shot there of the cars. Sebring really is an eye-catching track. I think it's fantastic, especially when you see it IRL with all the crowd and the trackside barbecues and support. It really is a fantastic atmosphere around Sebring in Florida. Bloody hot though. So 2 minutes remaining. I think there's going to be one more lap. Where's Adamu? So Adamu is coming across the start-finish line now. So there might even be 2 more laps actually. You can see the last lap time of both of these drivers is pretty much neck and neck. So again, not close enough going in to the hairpin, Dominic Illinger. Which is just great under pressure driving from Johannes Priest in the Peugeot. He does not want it to be a Ferrari lockout on the podium. He's trying to, as I said earlier, throw that car amongst the pigeons. Where's Adamu in terms of a start-finish line? Is he going to take the checkered flag this lap? I don't think he is. He's coming down the Allman straight now, which is the back straight. 23 seconds remaining. I think there's going to be one more lap. Round the final corner, Francesco Adamu. Is it going to be one more lap, or is this going to be the checkered flag? I think it's one more lap. Yes. So into sunset. Priest, Illinger. We've got a yellow flag out on track as well. I'm not sure who that is for. Just keeping an eye on the battle for P2 and 3 in GT3 as well. Under 2 seconds now between Chader and Lasik. I think Priest has got this covered. Francesco Adamu has drove absolutely flawless. Wasn't that a number 1 single for someone many years ago? Absolutely flawless. I can't quite remember. I can't believe I just said that live on air, but please do not clip that. That was not me attempting karaoke. But either way, Francesco Adamu, what a drive from him at Sebring tonight. He is half a lap away from taking the checkered flag here on round 3 and bagging some all-important championship points in the battle for the Cube Controls prize. There's some phenomenal prizes up for grabs. Just see Rudy Vermeulen still battling away with Tom Curtin in 7th and 8th, but we're going to go back on board with Francesco Adamu as he's got one corner to go, and he will turn this corner, he'll flick the car in right, he'll go over the bumps and cling onto the steering wheel for dear life, and he will see the checkered flag waving vigorously, and that is it. The headlights flash. Francesco Adamu wins the Sebring Round 3 Formula Racing League, powered by Cube Controls. What a drive. Adam Sesblat will come across the line in P2, and now where's the question? Where is Priest? Is it Priest? Is it Illinger? It's going to be Johannes Priest. 3rd place for him in Hypercar. That is your final podium spot. Dominic Illinger is in 4th, and Adam Moden is going to come across in 5th. But where is Kasperzik? They're already across the line. Apologies, I was hoping to catch the GT3 drivers separately, but I haven't. I was just focusing on the top 5 for Hypercar there. But Kasperzik also takes the win for GT3. Kasperzik and Adamu, just absolutely fantastic drive from the pair of them. Joseph Chadder is home in 2nd, Lasik 3rd, Danny Gold 4th, Timo Biggett 5th. Nieto coming around the final corner as well in the other Porsche. He's going to take 6th place. 7th place of Tom Curtin is coming under a little bit of late pressure from Rudy Vermeulen. So Rudy Vermeulen again coming around, but he's point. Oh, I was going to say 0.7, but it's a lot closer than that. But so the gap. Was a lot closer at the end there, but he gets home safely, Tom Curtin. So let's just bring you a full rundown of the results. Apologies, I'm just trying to sort out my So 45 laps. Your race winner in Hypercar tonight is Francesco Adamu. Adam Sesblat is P2. Peugeot of Johannes Priest P3. Dominic Illinger was 4th, and Adam Moden was 5th. Domikos Kiss in 6th. Brandon Geit 7th. Valerio Ascioni 8th. Timo Braun 9th, and Chris Jones rounds off the top 10 in Hypercar. For GT3, Kasperzik takes the checkered flag. Fantastic win for him. Joseph Chadder P2, and Danilo Lysak takes the 3rd and final spot on the podium in GT3. Danny Gold P4, Timo Biggett P5, Alex Nieto 6th, Tom Curtin 7th, Rudy Vermeulen 8th, Derek Bro is 9th, and Nigel Longden, good friends with Chris Jones, also finishes P10. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was round 3 of the Formula Racing League Le Mans Ultimate Season 2, powered by Cube Controls at Sebring. My voice has somehow managed to survive the last hour and a half, 2 hours. I do apologise for the gravelly voice, the constant refreshments in the commentary box tonight. It's it's been a bit of a struggle this week, but we've got there. I've managed to commentate on the race, and I've managed to hopefully bring you an exciting Friday evening. It's always been a pleasure. But before I go off air, let's just have a quick look at the upcoming schedule, shall we? So, next week, May the 9th, put it in your diaries, 7:45. We're aiming to be on air because we're heading to the Algarve in Portugal. We're heading to Portimao. The elevation changes is going to be phenomenal there. It's a fantastic track. I think it's an underrated track personally. And we're going to be at Portimao for round 4. Then we head to Italy, May 16th for Monza. Bahrain is May 23rd, and the penultimate round is going to be at Imola, back in Italy, on May the 30th. And then the season finale, the no chicane variant at Le Mans, June the 6th. So that is your series calendar upcoming. Don't forget, The sponsors, please do check them out on the right hand side there. Big thank you to Coach Dave Delta, Garage 44, SimGrid, Cube Controls, SWIT, Timpson. And of course, check out Formula Racing League's Discord if you want to get involved with any sim racing. As I said earlier on in the stream, if you want to get involved with ACC, rFactor 2, F1, I think they do F1 on the consoles, Le Mans Ultimate, even iRacing, check out Formula Racing League. They really are a great bunch of guys, really good Discord, lots of stuff happening there. You've got tech advice, you've got sim rig places, you've got all sorts to kind of get your teeth stuck into. So I've been your commentator tonight, Lewis Robertson. As always, been a pleasure bringing it to you, and we will see you next week at Portimao. Have a great rest of the weekend. Enjoy your Saturdays, enjoy your Sundays. If you're in England, have a fantastic bank holiday Monday. It's a long weekend here in England, and yeah, we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.